Good morning. It is July 13th. I can't believe it's already July 13th. So as you can see, I'm in the greenhouse and things are just doing wonderful. Flowers are blooming. Everything's growing great. But the reason I'm making this video today is, well, I'll show you around quickly in case you haven't been following. This will be just like a quick overview update. But I am planting beans today because finally we've got the conditions. We've got warm weather, we've got dry weather, and it should be a really good time, hopefully, to plant these beans. And I'm counting on an extended growing season here in Montana since we got started so late. We really didn't have nice weather until the middle of June, and that's when things could really take off. And I, of course, was waiting in my three sisters' garden for the corn to come up, and I think we just didn't have the right conditions for growing the corn, or it was a bad corn seed. There are very few that came up, so I'm going to go ahead and plant a couple of rows of beans, and I'll show you how I do that. And I'll give you a quick little tour. It's just great in here. The nasturtiums are overwhelming me because I've never actually even grown them or had them. So seeing how beautiful they are and how easy they are to grow, I am definitely a fan of nasturtiums. You got to control them, but what a great plant. All right, let's go take a look. Everything in the greenhouse is just doing great. The nasturtiums amaze me. I've never grown them before. I've never even had them. I never even really knew about them until this year. But look at them. They're just everywhere. I've got these to transplant somewhere. But just a quick look. Everything is just great right now. The cabbage plants, even the broccoli, tomato plants are doing well. Got lots of flowers there. Got some cherry tomatoes coming on. The marigolds have come up. That'll keep the bugs away from there. The squash, I've been training it and it's starting to climb. And the beans are in there too. The corn, all our new tomatoes are doing well. Some broccoli plants, cabbage plants, carrots. Look at these carrots. The ones on the other side, I will be trimming these off. Once they get really good and fluffy, you want to trim some of these tops. That way it'll force the growth to go down into the carrot. So look at our squash. It's doing well. The only thing I'm disappointed in is the melons back here. Again, I planted those way too early, thinking we were going to have spring and summer. So the nasturtiums kind of took over. But I think I'm going to let them just take over. Do have couple of cantaloupe plants there that may make it. I cleared away a bunch of the nasturtiums so they could get some light. We'll see what happens there. There, my very beginning Three Sisters experimental plot. I got one stalk of corn coming up. So I planted peas in there. I don't know. Yeah, they're starting to come up pretty good too. Well, enough of that. I'm going to go outside. I guess I can just walk that way so you can kind of see what's going on here. Oh yeah, even my beets, I was worried about those beets. That was a second later planting. Those came up. The only thing that came up well in my first early plantings were the lettuce. And some of those beets are coming up down there too. I'll cut some of those beet greens. Got some really bright nasturtiums over there. I see that deep red. Okay. So here we have the potatoes. Those are doing well. Of course, you can't really go wrong there. I got some pumpkin plants here. And this is where I'm going to put the pole beans here. And I've got Blue Lake bush beans. I'm going to plant in there. And over here, we'll just let the flowers take over. Now these squash here, they'll be able to spread out under and in between the pole beans. And they complement each other nicely. So, well, let's get growing once again. So yeah, see the corn? Very little corn came up. It's still coming up, so I'm not gonna totally give up on it, but I'm just not gonna wait any longer. Okay, so here's the Three Sisters garden, and you can see very little corn. Okay, so this is where we started the Three Sisters garden. We have squash plants all along here, which are doing quite well. And then I'm going to today go ahead, I'm going to put pole beans here. I have some sticks I'm going to put in there for support because obviously the corn's not coming up. That's okay. And then on this row, I'm just going to go ahead and plant it with Blue Lake bush beans. So there's quite a few weeds in here. I'm going to get my self into the weeding mode, take care of that, and then I will do the planting. Okay, we got this cleaned up, and I actually saw a few more corn, so I'm pretty glad to see that. Now I'm going to plant some stakes. I'm just using rebar because that's what I had. And bush beans here. Okay, so what I have here are Livingston seeds. They're Blue Lake pole beans, and actually I soaked them last night in water just to give them that little extra push on moisture absorption. Let's just see how many I have here. I just bought these fresh at the store because I just wanted to make sure they were good. These are packed for 2022. You want to look at your dates on the bottom of the seeds. So I've got 44, 46, 48 seeds. All right. Good to know. Well, I'm a counter. I like to know those things. So 48. So I'll put 3 around each post. You want to go about 1 inch deep. And here's the seeds. Row, I'm going to plant Livingston's Blue Lake bush beans, and I'm going to do it the old-fashioned way. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 2 peas at a time, pinch them together, and just put them down about 1 inch, and I'm going to go a little bit tighter because this is raised bed, really good soil, so we'll get a bumper crop, keeping the fingers crossed that we don't get a early freeze or anything. So, Lucky. Perfect. Okay, so now I'm just tamping them down. That's pretty important because you don't want any air around the seeds. You want good contact with the soil, and it just takes a minute to do that. Okay, so now I'm just making sure that those seeds are going to be moistened. Don't want to get them too wet because you don't want those seeds to rot on you, but it's going to be a good day for germination, and in about 5 days we should start to see them coming up. Got to make sure that the top part stays wet. But anyway, I did do a Three Sisters gardening video earlier in the season when I was a little over anxious to get going on things, and like I said earlier, my corn just didn't really come up, so I'm kind of doing a modified approach. The squash will still go over, and that helps to hold the moisture in, eliminate the weed growth, and that'll have a chance to spread out through those pole beans. And then that first row will just be bush beans. So we'll see how this works out. Things don't always go as planned, but I'm actually really looking forward now to see how these beans grow out here, and we'll hope for a nice long extended season before we get our first frost here in Montana. Well, I hope you are enjoying these videos. Probably won't have a whole lot of progress reports for a while, but once this gets up and going, I'll let you know. And this is Travels with Lucky, and subscribe if you haven't. I try to catch a lot of other cool nature things going on around town, and I do have a video on Jackson Gardens if you want to watch and see what Jackson Gardens, a community garden in Sheridan, Montana. It's just beautiful. So anyway, here we are.